and I was a teacher, and I was working for the Mosaic Project, and I was here for an education conference. And didn't have really any money, and I knew another guy who was from Minnesota, where Minnesota, California is great, Washington is great, these are, you know, great states, but for some reason Minnesota rules everybody in terms of state funding for nonprofit organizations. I have this friend from Minnesota who ran this like nonprofit organization, had tons of money. I mean, I was helping run this nonprofit organization in California, in the Bay Area, and we were broke, and I was just planning to stay at a hostel or at a friend's house or whatever. My homeboy from Minnesota had a pimpin', like, he had 2 beds in his hotel room, and he let me crash on the floor. Because I came with this lady who was the founder of the nonprofit, so I let her have a bed. I crashed on the floor. But one of the nights he said, hey, you know, after the conference is over and I was learning about, you know, communicating with, you know, your employees and writing grants and blah, 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 whatever. Any of you who are in the nonprofit world know, this is an organization called AEE, Association for Experiential Education. So anyways, he had this beautiful hotel room, and he said, hey, Brett, you know, you and Laura, you two can crash in my room. So we crashed in his room. And then one night, you know, he was getting all dressed up, and where are you going? He's like, well, I'm going to this club called the Showbox to see this Neil Diamond cover band called Super Diamond. So I said, Neil Diamond? I'm a fan of Neil Diamond, which I wasn't really, but I knew, you know, I had a friend in high school who was really into him, and I thought it was a little weird, but he was always in his car, he always played Neil Diamond, so I knew the words to tons of Neil Diamond songs. So I came with him to this show, this Neil Diamond cover band called Super Diamond, and it was one of those bands where it wasn't like a Coldplay or U2 or Led Zeppelin cover band where each guy dresses up as like a different guy in the band. Everybody on stage dressed up as Neil Diamond. Whether it was the singer, or the drummer, or whatever, they all looked like they had the sequins on, and platform shoes, and the hair, and they were like, say it now! Oh, come on, yeah! And I stood right over back there by the bar, and and then, you know, then I started gigging, and I was like, when I found out I could play here, I was like, oh, I've been here before.